All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Quadash, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, are our two great kings, the gods that the King James Bible speaks of, which again, the true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, who the world in ignorance calls Christ. True name is Yahweh Shai. Second of all, I want to give double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Elder Tahar and on down, that rule and teach well. And third of all, I want to give a peace and safety to the hopeful elect out there, the brothers that push this truth, the truth of the King James Bible, and all truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe. All right, so I just want to do a short lesson, or however long the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai allows it to go. And I want to name the video, It's Getting More and More Interesting. All right, and Lord wills, brothers can see on the screen. The inspiration for this lesson comes from this article that I have here from the Raw Story, and it says police chief defies ICE as agents try to block local cops from latest Minneapolis shooting. All right, which I'm pretty sure all the brothers out there are aware. Another shooting took place in Minnesota. These ICE agents or whatever put another guy to death. All right, which they're saying that he was armed and dangerous. He had a gun on him or whatever, and he was threatening to kill all ICE agents and all of that. So they took him out, and they just ICE or whatever just did a press conference. Their chief or their leader or whatever just did a press conference and said that it's still under investigation. But he said that the guy had a gun that he was threatening to kill ICE agents, but it's still under investigation. All right, so yeah, we got to sit back, watch, wait, and see what happens with that. But yeah, it says again, police chief defies ICE as agents try to block local cops from latest Minneapolis shooting. So the cops, the local police in that area where ICE is right now, and ICE are in seeing eye to eye basically. All right. Which this is, like the title of the lesson is, makes things more interesting because could the cops jump on the side of the citizens? All right. And that turns up the heat more. And, eventually Trump has to invoke the Insurrection Act, and send in the big guns. All right. But again, we got to sit back, watch, wait, and see what happens. Lord will that does happen. But let's read some of this article. It says, ICE attempts to block local police officers from the scene of another Minneapolis shooting Saturday, which is today. But the chief police defied their orders. The federal agents attempted to demand the city police officers stay away after gunshots rang on Saturday morning. But Chief Brian O'Hara, if I pronounced that right, refused the Minneapolis Star Tribune report. A video apparently Shalakia, shot by a witness shows immigration and custom enforcement agents wrestling a man to the ground. One officer appearing to strike the person what looks like a firearm before several shots are heard. And they're showing real deal no mercy, man. It's another video I did with them having a guy on the ground, face down to the ground, and he just started macing him. So they're not showing any mercy. They're putting people to death. They're macing people that are detained. They're beating people's asses in the cars and dropping them off, 8 miles down the road in another parking lot. They're showing no mercy, and it's going to intensify. It says also readers, that's something else. All right, it says O'Hara confirmed a man had died as crowds of furious onlookers gathered. Sources told the Tribune O'Hara refused ICE demands and instructed his officers to preserve. And this is could cause Trump to have to go ahead and use the Insurrection Act, because if the local authorities there ain't complying, ain't working with ICE, all right, then again, that basically means they're on the side. Eventually, they'll be on the side of the protesters, all right, which will cause more of an uproar, all right. So this is just more fuel being added to the fire, and it's a strong chance Trump could go ahead and invoke the Insurrection Act up there. All right, or take it a step further and declare martial law. All right, which pretty much the Insurrection Act pretty much is martial law, pretty much. All right, but you know he come out and said, yeah, we're going to use martial law in Minnesota because it's just too out of hand. The authorities there ain't cooperating with us, you know, or whatever, and he has to, you know, make that move. Um, yeah. So it says sources told the Tribune O'Hara refused ICE demands and instructed his officers to preserve the scene. All when there's videos, you know, I've been watching live footage, you know, through the Spirit and Power by Shimmy Al-Shah. I've been watching live footage, you know, ever since the incident happened. And the cops are out there and there's ICE agents out there as well. But ICE agents are moving around. The cops are just standing their ground, you know, basically trying to block off the scene. All right. Because probably ICE was trying to, you know, grab the body, throw it in the back of a truck and carry it down the road somewhere and dump it. All right. But these guys are like, they're pretty much like mercenaries, pretty much. All right. Like bounty hunters, pretty much. All right, it says preserve the scene. All available local police officers have been called into work. Right, so they, you know, going full force with it. It says many Minnesota officials have complained that they were frozen out of the investigation of the deadly shooting of Renee Good by ICE earlier this month. Right, because they don't want no investigation. They don't want just take our word for it. They were dangerous. They were trying to kill us. They were trying to shoot us. They were trying to run us over with cars, and we used lethal force to take them out. No need for an investigation. Like the guy said the other day, he said that yeah, we're not in the business of investigating, you know, every single little thing. He said that. Yeah, this woman was crazy. She was in a car. She was trying to run one of our guys over, and he protected himself, defended himself, basically. And it's probably gonna be the same thing with this situation. All right. But yeah, man, we in them dark times, man. Again, this is gonna get more and more interesting. Was getting more and more interesting. All right. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 1. And after that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which shall stand for the children of thy people. And there should be a time of trouble, which the time of trouble our forefather Daniel is speaking of here is Jacob's trouble, such as never was seen since there was a nation, even to that same time. Right now, you got the cops. First of all, pretty much bounty hunters out there. All right, with the local cops, and you got protesters out there. All right. So, like the Lord said, the time never before seen. All right. These are unheard of situations here in Babylon the Great. You know, we had, you know, the civil rights thing. You know, you had the Rodney King. You had certain things where shit got real deal serious. But now we in the time of the end. Those times like never before seen. Our forefather Daniel, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh spoke of. These times are way worse. All right, the civil rights, any of them other ancient, not ancient, but any of those other protests, all right, on steroids times 20. It's gonna be way worse. Scripture speak about again uproars of the people, and they're gonna turn extremely violent. All right, such as never was seen since there was a nation, even to that same time, and at that time, that people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book, which is the elect. And you know, again, this is getting very, very interesting. All right. And now you got local police basically coming up against the government, basically. Basically the Trump administration. All right. The local police there are coming up against the Trump administration because like a lot of people in the crowd been shouting out, we're your neighbors, we're your neighbors, we're here, whatever, you know, all that jazz. All right. And some of them, you know, could you know, give in to that. All right. One of them cops might see their neighbor out there, their kids might play together, they might hang out or whatever. All right. And they could say, look, man, we're going to join forces with the people out here and protect our own streets. And again, Trump can't have that. that will give him, license to go ahead and invoke the Insurrection Act, bring about the Insurrection Act, which Lord will he does. All right, because we know eventually martial law is coming. All right, and again, these situations are going to intensify, and it's still going down out there. They're shooting, tear gassing them. Again, there may be more shootings today. All right, it could be more shootings today. And you can tell also there's a lot of agents out there. You can tell there's a lot of agents out there. All right, which is good, which is a good thing. All right, because we need more chaos, as much chaos and as much, bad things to happen out there as possible. All right. Why? Because it's prophecy, and prophecy must be fulfilled. And in order for us to get the hell out of this place, all that is written must be fulfilled. All right. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory again unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash, double honors again to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and safety to you brothers that push this truth and sincerity. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.